Thank you everybody for coming today. My name is Sarah Supple. I'm the PIO for the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency with the City of Albuquerque. Today we're here celebrating the ribbon cutting of this beautiful development project, Nuevo Atrisco. It is really exciting to see how much this site has developed since the last time we were here for the groundbreaking, which was a little bit over a year ago. Before I forget, there is coffee and waters in the back corner, so please help yourselves. And right when we're finished with our speaking, there's going to be some appetizers and food passing around, so stick around and hang out for all of that too. So to kick us off and lead us through the program today, I would like to bring up our mayor, Tim Keller.
All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone to this amazing space. For us, actually, this is some basic things like a warm place to eat your food from food trucks, which comes in very handy today. But this represents so much more for this community and I think for our city. And so I'm going to walk through our speakers and introduce a number of folks who are going to share all sorts of perspectives on this. But I just wanted to, I think, highlight a couple of things right off the bat. Number one, this has been a sustained, prolonged effort by the neighborhood leaders, by City Councilor Pena, and by Chris Baca and the Maestas team, and the folks who put together this town center, essentially, right here on the west side. And the idea is, again, much bigger than something like housing and a food court. The idea is that for way too long, right, there has not been a sort of centralized community hub out on the west side, and also a place to bring together north and southwest side. And so the idea that was pitched to me by our counselor when I got in office is, we've had this plan for a long time and it's awesome. Can we actually do it? And as soon as I learned about the plan, I said, absolutely, I want to make that happen. And so I know they've been working on this at least for a decade, if not longer. But I know that we really got this thing going in the last 4 years. And this truly is community building, literally in every sense of the word. And it's also in a place that has needed sort of that centralized place to come together. And even hence the name, Nuevo Atrisco, right? This is part of the Atrisco land grant, the old Atrisco community. And so this is meant to be that new version of a community center for everyone out here in this part of the city. Now, this is also part of a bigger picture, I think, where we can see the changes that have happened on the west side over the last, there's been many over the last decades. But I want to highlight just a couple of things that a lot of the speakers up here have been working hard on for so long, but they're sort of promises that we're finally delivering on for the West Siders. And that is a brand new community center at Westgate, which, by the way, the soccer field's open today. Now, it's fresh turf and it's winter, so I wouldn't have everyone go run out there and play on it. But they actually finished up construction today. But we have a brand new community center on the west side. We're going to be reinvigorating the old one. And of course, we have a splash pad coming this summer down in Alamosa. We've done a lot of street repaving up here. Councilor's been involved in all the landscaping up and down Central and West Central. We have the incredible visitor center at Route 66, out at the western end of Route 66. All of these are things that are finally coming to fruition. We are breaking through some of the community building and placemaking challenges that we've had on the west side for too long. And so we're now here to celebrate the next piece of that, which is a place where families can come together, folks from all walks of life, and also enjoy some amazing food. So we're going to touch on different aspects of this as we walk through our agenda, but I want to start with some of the specifics on this project. The city's Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency has been sort of the primary mover in supporting this effort. So let's bring up the interim director, now our chief of staff, Terry Bruner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We're so excited to see this come together after many years. MRA is helping, we believe, to help revitalize West Central and bring projects like this to fruition. If you can all recall, this was a dirt lot. And that's this type of work we love to do at MRA, where we take a dirt lot, find some great public and private partners, and do something with it. And that's what you see here today. Nuevo Atrisco LLC and and the MRA have been working together for a while on this. The city contributed $1.8 million in GO bonds for this. I believe there was capital outlay involved as well, over $1 million in capital outlay. And we have helped with the construction of this public plaza that has a bunch of different really neat elements to it. We have a teaching kitchen in the back that's got a commercial kitchen with a hood and other stuff in there, refrigeration. The community room in the back that the community members can rent out, in a sense, for meetings and other stuff. Interactive play area out here. If you go out there and you check it out a bit, you see there's fountains and water features and squishy stuff that kids can play with. And we also have exterior art on the walls, shade structures, and a stage out there that hopefully will liven up in the environment as well. So we are really excited to have the opportunity to partner with everybody who brought this together and bring some new life to the area. And so with that, congratulations to everybody involved, and I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
All right, thank you, Terry. Okay, as Terry articulated, there's been a lot of different folks working on this particular space too. And believe it or not, one of them is actually our own solid waste department. And so I want to bring up Angel from our department, our deputy director, and he's going to articulate. And why don't we also come up? I think Magdalena's here from Working Classroom. Why don't you two come up and explain the amazing work that you've done right here?
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, go.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this great moment. First of all, again, this is such a great moment to be a part of, and I really appreciate the invite. Keep Albuquerque Beautiful is proud to support this new development through our mural grant program with Working Classroom. For over 10 years, we've partnered with Graffiti Prevention, Mural Restoration Project, providing nearly $30,000 in funding, including $5,000 this year. Together, we've created meaningful art across Albuquerque, like the MLK Jr. Mural on Tejeras Underpass. This program helps beautify our community and promote sustainable practices. I'd like to take this moment to thank Working Classroom, thank the lead artist, Jade Cruz, and the youth art leaders for making this project a reality.
Thank you so much, Solid Waste, and also to all of the other partners who helped support the production of the mural. I'll try to be quick because the mural that is on the outside wall is only a very small part of this really important project. Again, I wanted to thank Solid Waste. It's been a long-time partnership, long before I was at Working Classroom, that has helped support art all around our communities. So it was this beautiful combination of factors when they wanted to support us, and we were looking for a wall, and as it turns out, they were also working on building this up. So it was this kind of magical moment that we were brought in all of these partners together to help to beautify this space and ensure it's going to be creative and community building for the long term. So I should just also thank the folks that worked on this specifically. So the Working Classroom team, which consists of Manuel Hernandez, Pat Arreguin, Michael Perez Fuentes, and if the youth arts leaders would kind of rise and raise their hands, as well as Jade Cruz, who just walked in, as the lead artist in the orange hat over there. And also, I would just like to say a very special thanks to the central focus of the mural, who is a community member of this place, who was building community before this space came here. Their name is Linda Alvarado, and they are one of our youth arts leaders' parents, who also owns a food truck, whose food truck was making community in this lot before this building was here. So now we are so excited to know that we could continue to build community with amenities that are going to be helpful for all of us, right? So please be welcome here. Let's use this space as our own and build community together through culture and food. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you so much. That is such an excellent vision, I know, for everything that not only you're doing with the students in real time, but also for all of us who can be part of that vision, being here and enjoying that culture and that art and each other and our families. So I know we also have a tremendous amount of elected officials who've helped with this work. And we're going to hear from a couple of them here shortly, but I just want to acknowledge some others. I know we have, I think Senator Linda Lopez is here. I think so. There she is, right here. Thank you for all your help, Senator. Do you want to say anything? Or do you have any?
Just a bit.
Yeah, jump on up. Sorry. Yeah, come on up.
No, thank
So let's bring up our Senator, Linda Lopez. Yeah.
You never give a politician an opportunity, right? Yeah. Anyway, I want to say thank you to the vision that everybody in this room in some fashion or point, Chris Baca and team and others who've had a vision for what we can do in our community. Many of us who've lived here on the west side remember this just being as dirt lots, as was mentioned previously. And where we are today with living on just to the south, to the north of us with this facility and other wonderful opportunities that are coming for the community, this will be a spot for us and for our young people as we continue to grow our community, a place where we can come and celebrate. This is the day of celebration. I want to celebrate each of you who've helped to contribute to this. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, I think the next person I want to bring up, I would say, is, at least from an elected official standpoint, while we all help, Councilor Pena has championed this project since she took office, and even before that as a neighborhood leader. And her work, I remember when we met actually with the late Ken Sanchez, and they outlined like 5 projects that we needed to do, and this was one of them. And some of them they had already done with respect to the library and the transit center, but it was the Nuevo Atrisco, the community center work that I mentioned, and some fields and some other things. But at the end of the day, she has picked up the torch in so many ways for all of the West Side. And so we're very grateful for her leadership. So please welcome Councilor Clarissa Pena.
Thank you all. Thank you for being here. This is a really exciting time for us in the community, not only for the city of Albuquerque, but more in particular, the West Side residents, Southwest Side residents. You know, we've just been, people ask me, how long have you been in office? People think I've been in office longer than I actually have, but it's because we were doing the community work, and I actually ran based on saying that I wanted to help to carry out the vision of the community. So all the work that's being done and that I try to accomplish is because it's a bigger vision. It's from people, some of the, I said this last night, but some of the unsung heroes in our community that come every day, every weekends, holidays, monthly to meetings, just to try to create change in our community. And that's, you know, in today's day and time where people are so busy and say that they don't have time to be able to attend meetings or the like, there's a solid group of people out there working on your behalf that aren't elected officials to make all this stuff a reality. So, you know, I think the MRA, you're the deputy chief now, huh? Deputy chief, he actually talked about this being an empty field. It was actually when we were doing the community work, we had a charrette, and this was with Ken, and Elaine at the time was his analyst, and we had a charrette to talk about what we would envision for this area. And we all, a bunch of neighbors got together and sat down and actually drew their picture of what they envisioned. And then we were separated into like 5 or 6 groups. And everyone in those groups individually came together and had a very similar vision. So, and what you see today is part of that vision. It's still a work in progress, but it's part of the vision that people thought about so long ago. And so I really want to thank, you know, obviously Steve Maestas, who is working on this, along with Yes Housing, who has been part of this vision since the inception. He's the one that used to allow us to have meetings at his building. His wife, Jeanette from Alamosa, the Yes Housing board members, Yes Housing. I mean, it really takes a village to make all this happen, you know, and working together. This is just one of the few steps that we've been taking to really revitalize West Central. If you see, we have the visitor center now. We obviously have this. We have a library. We have the fire station. We're in the process, I think, I'm hearing, of buying the Unser property. We hope to, you know, we had a vision to be able to turn that into a museum that didn't actually pan out the way we had anticipated, but I think we can really bring something special to that corner. And just looking forward to what the future holds for West Central. As you all know, we're embarking on our 100th year celebration. We're doing a lot of work in anticipation of it, working with all our fellow city councilors. You know, we're really getting together and putting our heads together. As you can see, we have the banners along Central, and I think it just brightens up our area. We know we have issues as a city, but together I think we can make changes and challenge ourselves to do better. So thank you for being here. I'm just so proud of all this work, so thank you.
Well, the council borderline that no one cares about, except for city councilors, is actually Central. And so we do have some folks I wanted to acknowledge. This is really a bridge project for the whole west side, north and south. And so we have Laurelwood neighborhood is here, actually, and our former board member, Candy Patterson, and Frank Comfort, that's his real name. And so there's lots of neighbors here too, and also the councilor who supports infrastructure development, absolutely from here all the way roughly to Montano, right? And so let's bring up Councilor Luis Sanchez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just really, really happy that all this is going on. Thanks everyone here. Chris, Steve, you guys have done an amazing job. Councilor Pena. Councilor Pena forgot about how many other things we're doing up here. We have so much going on. If you guys ever want to sit down and talk to me and Councilor Pena, you should hear the dreams that are coming out of these heads here. So you got to come check this out. Just hang out with us. Whenever we have a meeting, come talk to us, come sit with us, because the west side is happening. It is growing, and we are making it grow, and we are making it happen. And I'm so excited about this food truck area and the Nuevo Atrisco, because I drive through here every single day of the week, and every day I'm like, Chris, when are we open? How many times have I called? You know, I call these guys all the time. I come in and I visit, and I got to know Josh and Carissa, and Josh and Carissa are going to be the ones running this whole show. And if Josh, Carissa, where are you? There's Josh. Wait, right there. Carissa, where are you? Way in the back. So those are those two people are the managers here. So please get to know them. The biggest excitement is this community. Man, I know everybody in here. We know almost every one of you in here. So thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for coming here. This is the biggest sense of community that I've seen in a long time, and I hope to see each and every one of you here, because I will be coming here often. Thank you all, and I'm hoping for the best and this project to succeed and continue to thrive. So continue to tell your friends and family. We've got the Nuevo Atrisco Food Court ready to go. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Councilor, and it's interesting just to foreshadow projects. I drove by the Southwest Public Safety Center, and it's about half done. It looks great. So more on the way just down the road to the south of us. But for more on this project, we're going to transition a little bit to the folks who really kind of put this together and actually make it happen from a reality perspective. The construction, the development, putting together the partnership that actually it takes to make this work, and even working on how we're going to manage it from a day-to-day basis. A community center, a mixed-use space for all of Albuquerque, and especially the west side. And that has been the vision of these two individuals way before my time. And so I think the first one we want to bring up is, of course, our head of Yes Housing and CEO, Chris Baca. And Chris, before he comes up, you know, I think everyone here knows who Chris is and knows all that he's done, but I just want to echo, when you think of almost every major mixed-use affordable housing project that has been an asset to our community, and then you even go back to his previous work at YDI and even his wife's work in the neighborhood. I know a lot of us were together last night. You know, I mean, when you really think about it, I feel like Chris and his partner are the mayor of the West Side. And so anyway, let's bring up one of our true community champions that we're so grateful for, Chris Baca.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Tim, for those kind words. Yeah, this is a vision that we've had as a community for a long, long time. My wife and I have lived here in the West Side for the last 50 years, and along the way we ran into Clarissa when she was attended one of our meetings, and we started to get her involved, and boy, she hasn't stopped since, so it's been about 30-some years. But this particular project was an idea that came to fruition around almost 10 years ago, Mr. Mayor, as you mentioned. I had met Steve Maestas a while back when he was working on Las Estancias, and we knew that this parcel of land was going to be made available by MRA. And I sat down with him. He and I had a meeting over at Monte Carlo over a cheeseburger and a beverage. We won't tell you what the beverage was. But it loosened us up a little bit. And so we had the idea that if we could lead, if Yes could lead with some apartments, and what you see immediately north of here is our apartments, about 80 apartments there, and with 6 live workspaces. If we could get some rooftops here, we could really make something happen. Of course, Steve is a master of commercial. This is actually a very small project for him, but he also likes to do things that are very connected to the community. And over this burger and the beer, oh, there I said it, beer. We came up with the idea, if we could come up with this corner that was already vibrant, there was already food trucks here. If we could make it more comfortable for people to get out of their vehicle, get some food, sit down someplace and enjoy, get out of the inclement weather, or if it's too hot or too cold like today, you could actually sit inside. And there's facilities in case you needed to use them. And we thought it was a much better way to do things. And we let Steve do his magic. In the interim, we built these apartments ideally located. If you look at it, we have the state-of-the-art library right here. We have the bus turnaround station right behind us. We have the UNM Medical Clinic there, our apartments, and now this place that is the mayor said becomes a community gathering space. And that's how this whole thing happened. It took us a long time. It took us about 8 years to get both things done, but it's done. And the important thing is that this is the connecting point between the Northwest Mesa and the Southwest Mesa. We're on the Northwest Mesa technically right now. If you cross the light, you're on the Southwest Mesa. And as we know, the future of this city has been headed west for a long, long time. And this connecting point, this is a critical point where we are able to bring these communities together in a way where people can enjoy themselves, have some good food, and become friends. What we lack in many communities is cohesion. This particular project is all about cohesion, bringing all these beautiful things that our community has to offer. And I want to thank the leadership of the city, the council, all of you that have worked so hard and overcome so many obstacles. I'd like to thank you for all the work that you do, because mostly what we do these days is criticize our elected officials. And we just don't understand how much work these people put in. In fact, we were with the mayor last night and the city councilor last night. I probably run into you about 3 or 4 times a week at some meeting. Louis and I have coffee all the time, and then I go over to Clarissa's house and have breakfast. So we're all very united, and of course my wife keeps us all going. So this is an important project for us. This is what we really call community revitalization, because this is bringing life to a corner that was empty. And so I want to welcome you all. I want you to frequent it often. There's 8 different food concepts here. And where's Joe Lujan? Where's Joe?
Oh, he's outside.
He's outside?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's making sure the food trucks are good.
Okay, Joe Lujan is actually the master tenant here, so he's the one that, along with Steve, thought up the idea of let's put food trailers. Let's make it easier for folks to actually run their business and not have to put diesel in their vehicle and then travel someplace for looking for a corner. Let's put gas and water and all of these so they can connect and they don't have to worry about that. Let's make it a place where it's inviting, where people can sit inside and they can eat and talk and all of that. In the summer, you're going to see a lot of activity here. So I'm welcoming you here, and I hope to see you very often. So thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. And as you mentioned, your partner in all these efforts is no stranger to Albuquerque in all sorts of ways. I think he was the original guy who had was it Got Land? What was that was? Got Space. Oh man, it's been too long. The Got Space, from the Got Milk. He was the guy behind it. It's great. So, but look, we are fortunate to have here in Albuquerque some real estate professionals, some developers who truly care about building and revitalizing our community. And I emphasize that not to bring up any others or anything like that and directly compare what Steve has done to many others. But I want to say this, I think it's hard pressed to find someone of Steve Maesta's abilities and business success who cares more about putting up with all it takes to do something like this. I think we refinanced this a gazillion times and all the different concepts, and he never gave up. And unfortunately, that's not always true when you're working with the private sector for obvious reasons. But he understood that public good. He understood that. And he stuck with us through thick and thin. And so we really appreciate your commitment to Nuevo Atrisco. Steve Maestas.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for those kind comments. So this has been a long time coming, as you've heard. And I just come before you with an abundance of gratitude. And I'm going to thank a few people, but before I do, I have to tell you a little bit about the journey that got me here today. And it really started about 30 plus years ago. And at the time, we had purchased Coors Central Shopping Center, where the Smiths is, at Coors Central. And it was about 80% vacant. We bought it out of bankruptcy. And as we're leasing it up, I get a call from this lady. And she very adamantly demands that I meet with her. So she says she's an advocate for the community, didn't know who she was, never heard of her before. So I go and meet with her at this place called Monte Carlo. And she starts telling me about, why don't we have an Olive Garden? Why don't we have a Dion's? And why is it that we can't have, just really going off. And I'm thinking in my head, this lady's a little bit crazy. And then what I realized is that she was really crazy, passionate about her community. And that community advocate 30 years ago, literally, was Clarissa Pena. So we did get a Dion's, best Dion's in Albuquerque, by the way, and a Starbucks and many others. And so the counselor and I have laughed about that story many times. But the one thing I've never told you is how that inspired me and how that informed me about the need and the opportunity. So I'm grateful to you for that. Thank you. The journey, as Chris had mentioned, for this project started about 7 or 8 years ago. It was root beer, for the record. But it's been a great experience, Chris, working with you and your team. You guys are top shelf, first class. We really do appreciate the relationship. Thank you for anchoring the project. It has validated what we're doing here. And I think this type of project, as the mayor was referencing, is really a model for the future for our community, because it does bring community together. A couple of thank yous, our construction and design teams, DPS, Wilger Enterprises. These people are great professionals. They do a lot of work with our team, and the end result is something that we can all be proud of. So thanks to each of your companies and your leaders. Ed Whitty, who put together these, the fabrication of each of these trailers, a local gentleman that's done a fantastic job. And when you're doing a project like this, there's two things that are really important. One is someone that has money. And so your financial partner, Bank of Albuquerque, who has been with us through some of those refinances and those extensions, Darren Davis and his team has done a wonderful job supporting us, so thank you, Darren. And then when you need somebody that is really talented in the culinary area, and that is Joe Lujan and his company. So we're very excited that he's here, and you can see Joe out there. You'll see a lot of Joe, and obviously we want you to support his enterprise here. And then finally, my last thank you is to the Maestas development team. These projects don't happen because of what I do. They happen because of the people that I surround myself with. And Wes, Kelsey have led this project. They've done a wonderful job. This started in a very difficult time, pre-COVID. We've gone through COVID, post-COVID. But we're here today to celebrate and to thank the community for the support. Lastly, I will say that during our journey through this process, you know, every project has difficulties. And when we dealt with, Mayor, when we dealt with your MRA team, it was really quite refreshing. Terry, Jennifer, Sarah, Omega, they understood what the big picture was, and they also understood the nuances necessary for us to be successful. So they were great partners, and we appreciate the relationship and the support that they gave us. Thank you.
So I think what we're going to do is, in a moment, have a nice, exciting ribbon cutting, and we'll invite everyone up to be a part of that. And if there are questions, we'll just do them after. Happy to take them, but just so we can celebrate and enjoy each other, and then we'll do questions on a one-off that Sarah will organize. So I think let me close with this. You know, as I think about our city, especially going into the Route 66 100th anniversary, which we're really going to sort of kick off next year, you think about Albuquerque, and you think about Central, of course, Route 66 and that Mother Road, and you think about those sort of iconic stops along it. And there's generic ones that are obvious, whether it's the fairgrounds or Nob Hill, then you get into the university and downtown. But I think what you see here today is also the future iconic places of Albuquerque. This intersection, right, think about it, Unser, the history of racing, the history of Route 66, a crossroads right here at Nuevo Atrisco, a place that reflects our heritage, but also our future. And it's this notion that we are building iconic places that I believe will be every bit as iconic as Nob Hill in the next 40 years are going to be right here on the west side. And then you'll even proceed further and go to the West Side Visitor Center, where you can learn about all of it. So the west side is where it's at for the future of Route 66. So congratulations to everyone who's worked on this. Thank you so much, and come on up for a ribbon cutting. Come on up, Clarissa. Gather around, folks. There's plenty of ribbon and space.
One of your microphones is
Yes, please. Take that off so we can stand on the other side. Okay. Got it? Yeah. And then, yeah.
Thank you.
Sarah, can you pull that off? So we'll just hold it. And Chris, why don't you sit in here? Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, hold on tight and watch your fingers. And so don't cut it yet. All right, it's an extra thick ribbon binder. It's the thickest ribbon we've ever cut. All right, so let's give them a nice countdown, though. 3, 2, 1.